All right, let's jump right in. If you're out there trading US indices, the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, it can feel like chaos sometimes. Well, today, we're going to break down a tool that's designed to give you a real edge by showing you where the big institutional money is actually moving in real time.
So first, let me ask you a question, and be honest with yourself. When you trade, are you just reacting to the price chart? You see a little uptick on the S&P, you jump in? Or are you actually tapped into the deeper currents that are causing those moves in the first place?
Because that's the real problem for most traders, isn't it? Your standard price chart, it's great at showing you what's happening. Price is up, price is down, but it gives you zero clues as to why it's happening. It's just the tip of the iceberg, and all the real power, all the force, is moving underneath the water. Think of an index like this. It's a chariot. It doesn't move on its own. The Nasdaq doesn't just wake up and decide to rally. No, it gets dragged there. It gets pulled by these incredibly powerful horses.
And who are these horses? Well, they're the heavyweight sectors of the entire U.S. market. We're talking technology, communications, consumer stocks, and financials. See, the real secret is that if you can understand how money is flowing into these groups, you can start to predict where that chariot is going next.
I mean, you've heard about the Magnificent Seven, right? When those titans, your Apples, your Microsofts, your Nvidias, all decide to pull in the exact same direction, guess what? The entire market has no choice but to follow along. The problem is, trying to track all that yourself in real time, it's basically impossible. And that is exactly where this tool, the US Sector Radar, comes into play. It takes that huge, complex job of analysis and just simplifies it. It automatically keeps an eye on 20 of these super heavyweight stocks, does all the hard work for you, and boils all that data down into one simple visual dashboard.
But here's the cool part. It doesn't just track them. The indicator has a kind of secret sauce, and it's all about how it filters out all the useless market chatter to find what the big institutions are really doing. So how does it separate the real signal from all that noise?
Well, it does this by using what's called a volume-weighted average. Now, what on earth does that mean? Okay, so a simple average can get tricked, right? Some stock makes a weird little price spike on no volume, and suddenly you get a false signal. But a volume-weighted average, it's smarter. It basically ignores that stuff. It only pays attention to a price move if it's backed by a ton of trading volume.
And that's the key takeaway right there. This indicator is designed to measure conviction. We're looking for the difference between a random, meaningless little price blip and a serious move that has real heavy capital behind it. And that, my friends, is the flow you want to be trading with.
Now, I know you're thinking, this sounds kind of complicated. But the way the radar actually displays this information is incredibly simple. It breaks everything down into a super clean dashboard that gives you both a micro view and a macro view of the market, all in one quick glance.
So the dashboard basically has two main columns. The first one is called Trend. Think of this as your micro view. It's the immediate bias right now on whatever chart you're looking at, say a 5-minute chart. Then right next to it, you have the Megatrend column. This is your macro view. This is the big picture, the institutional context, calculated on a much higher time frame like a 60-minute chart.
And here's what it looks like in action. See? It's really simple and direct. You've got the 4 key sectors listed in the rows, and then you have our 2 trends, the micro and the macro, in the columns. Your only job is to just glance at the colors and understand the story they're telling you.
And reading the colors is super intuitive, which is exactly what you need for split-second decisions. If a sector is showing heavy buying pressure, the box turns green. If it's showing heavy selling pressure, it turns red. And if things are just choppy or neutral, it stays gray, telling you there's indecision in the market.
Okay, now listen up, because this is where the real magic happens. We're not supposed to look at these 2 columns separately. The entire goal here is to find alignment, to combine that micro short-term view with the macro long-term view. That's how we find the highest probability trades.
And that alignment has a name. We call it confluence. This is the signal we're hunting for. It's when the color in the short-term trend column perfectly matches the color in the long-term megatrend column. It's the market telling you that the immediate price action is being fully supported by the big institutional money flow.
So what this does is it gives you an incredibly simple 3-step framework. Step 1, analyze the trend. What's happening right now? Step 2, confirm with the megatrend. What's the bigger picture doing? And step 3, you look for confluence. Are those colors aligned? If they are, you execute.
So let's say the Nasdaq is pushing up to a key resistance level. You're hesitant. Is this a real breakout, or am I about to get trapped? You glance at the radar, and you see bright green in the trend column and bright green in the mega trend column. Bam! That's your green light. That green on green confluence is telling you that real institutional money is fueling this move. It gives you the confidence to take that long trade.
And it works exactly the same way to the downside. Imagine the S&P 500 breaks below a major support level. You're nervous it might be a bear trap, but then you look over at the radar and you see red with more red. Both columns are lit up. That is a crystal clear signal. The immediate selling is being backed by the big boys. That's your confirmation to look for a short entry, trading with the flow.
You know, this quote here really says it all perfectly. When the micro, the short term, aligns with the macro, the long term, you are very likely in for a strongly directional day. And your job is simple. Trade in the direction of that powerful, unified flow.
So, just to wrap it all up, this radar takes something super complex, institutional money flow, and makes it visual and simple. It uses a smart calculation to filter out the noise, and it gives you its most powerful signal when you see that confluence. And best of all, you can customize it to fit whatever your trading style is.
And really, this brings us all the way back to the beginning. The entire purpose of a tool like this is to help you answer that one crucial question. Where is the real money going? Because once you can see that, you can finally stop fighting against the market's current and start trading with it.
So, I guess the final question for you is pretty simple. Are you ready to finally start trading with the institutional flow instead of constantly finding yourself on the wrong side of it?